The British Team Sky has been the great dominator of professional cycling during the past decade, winning 7 Tour de France, 2 Volta a España and 2 Giro d'Italia amongst other great achievements. And not only stars have been part of these successes, but also other cyclists who sweated into the jersey to carry out the orders of their master, Sir Dave Brailsford, and some of whose careers have ended on a low. One such rider is Britain's Peter Kennaugh, who went from being Chris Froome's right-hand man to being a disowned, forgotten man who retired at the age of 29, citing mental wellness pressures. Want to know his story? Without further ado, let the show begin. Team Sky was created in 2010 with an ambitious project goal. Based on having a big budget and signing the best British riders, it aims to win the Tour de France in a short period of time thanks to a new tactic that will surprise the world. Its director, Dave Brailsford, British coach at the same time and place where the star rider David Miller tested positive for EPO, claimed to have the secret to win all competitions of the championship with cyclists who came mostly from the track. Among them was a young Peter Kennaugh, a rider who had already been European Team Pursuit champion and a British champion in the Madison with Mark Cavendish, and who combined this with his road career with notable results, such as a surprising 3rd place in the British Championships. In Sky, the young Kennaugh starts his career in the C block, and according to the also British Alex Dowsett, in the English team there are 3 clear blocks: the A block, where all the superstars are and enjoy all the marginal gains; the B block, where the riders have to make a living for themselves to improve their performance; and the C block, the training team, where the young riders must get results to climb the pyramid to the sky. Pete proves to be a good workhorse and immediately begins to stand out on the C team. So much so that he is chosen by the UK national team to participate in the London 2012 Olympic Games. There, together with his A-block teammate Geraint Thomas, he won gold in the Team Pursuit event. A good example of working together and of his own individual worth as an athlete. Thus, the light-hearted trackie is selected for the 2013 Tour de France, after having thrived like few others in the Sky Pyramid. Alongside Thomas himself, Stannard, Switzu, Lopez, Kirienka, Boassenhagen, Porte, and of course Chris Froome. While the White Kenyan made exhibition after exhibition in the Gallic Loop, the previously unknown climber, Peter Kennaugh, was the big surprise of the Sky team, exploding pelotons in the hardest passes of the Tour de France. Suddenly we saw that the new guy was not only one of the members of the A team, but also one of its most valuable members, as he quickly became part of one of the closest crew of the champion Chris Froome, who he had known since his amateur days. In fact, here he is in these priceless archive images of him performing the well-known Ice Bucket Challenge with the Tour de France winner. By 2014 he began to fly solo, and he achieved his first victories as a professional. These included the Tour of Austria and the Settimana Coppi Bartali. But amongst all of these stood out the UK National Championships of the Road, a title that had already been achieved by other teammates such as Thomas, Wiggins and Stannard, and that was a very important race when it came to consolidation within the Team Sky A block. Having access to the marginal gains not only meant an increase in performance, but also an increase in prestige. So much so that year he was called up by the national team to compete in the World Championships in Ponferrada in Spain. He did such a good job as a gregario that Brailsford himself said on camera that Kennaugh, if he prepared well, could one day even be world champion. But the best was yet to come. In 2015 he revalidated his title as British champion ahead of Mark Cavendish, and won a stage victory, no less than in the Criterium de Dauphine ahead of the best of the lot, even wearing the yellow jersey. But just that year, he began to suffer problems inside after the use of those marginal gains. In the middle of the Tour de France, and after several stages of suffering, Kennaugh abandoned on stage 16 and became the first Sky Domestique rider to abandon the Tour. Even so, he still enjoyed Froome's confidence, and in the Australian competitions at the beginning of 2016, the champion gave him a stage in the Herald Sun Tour with a gesture of friendship and total complicity, and took him as a gregario for the Vuelta a España, which he lost to Nairo Quintana in the Formigal stage. And finally, in 2017, we reached the key moment of the cycling career of our friend Pete. In his full sporting maturity, at the age of 28, he achieves the best victory of his career. Not just in any race or any old place, no more and no less than in the Critérium de Dauphine. 2 weeks before the start of the Tour de France, and on the Alpe D'Huez. A cut short Alpe D'Huez, yes, but it is still one of the most iconic mountain peaks of cycling. And in a competition in which Sky took their riders to perform their tests for the Tour de France. An undisputed triumph, and one that coincidentally changed his life. We don't know if it was the marginal gains, if there was an internal discussion in the team due to Kenaugh's amazing climbing abilities, or if that day the good Pete used some connecting rods that belonged to Geraint Thomas. But the nice British donkey was not included in the team, neither for the Tour de France nor for the Vuelta a España. And the most surprising thing is that he did not renew with the Sky team, with which he had been for 8 seasons. In December, he got the break of his life and signed for 2 seasons with the German team Bora. But there, Kennaugh failed miserably and only managed a pitiful victory in the Belgian Grand Prix Cerami, a Category 1.1, and abandoning in most of the races in which he participated in, and in the rest just finishing in the peloton. He was just another cyclist, no longer the one who smashed pelotons and appeared with Froome in the most outstanding events. At the beginning of 2019, and at only 29 years of age, he quit professional cycling citing mental wellness concerns. He spoke of issues coping with the pressures and difficulties withstanding the dramas of the fierce competition of top-level sport. To this day, he is still toying with a future return to competition, but has been seen very comfortable commentating on the cycling races for British television and appearing in documentaries recounting his mental health concerns, although he has been forgotten by the collective cycling imagination 3 years later. What we do know is that his life changed one day. Something happened that day in Alpe D'Huez. Something that no journalist has even dared to ask Kennaugh, Brailsford, Froome, or any of those who were in France that day. But this Briton was never the same again.